guys? Welcome back. True. Welcome back to True. I don't know, Too True. It is Too True that you're back here with Trending in T.I.Studios. I'm your host, Ben. Today we're talking about Walking Dead Season 5. And Season 5 had a lot of noticeable deaths. And we are going to bring them up right here at the start. And then we'll kind of get through it here as we go. But the deaths that we saw in Season 5 would have been Gareth, who was evil. But outside of him, the good guys that we lost were Bob, Beth, Tyrese, Noah, and Reg, and a bad guy in the end, Pete. So, kind of go through it all here a little bit. Bob we lost when he had been bit, and then his leg was eaten by Gareth and his boys, but he died from being infected. But he got to say goodbye to everybody like a champ, and Bob really had turned around from the mistakes that he had made and became a very productive person in the group. So just want to give my shout outs to Bob and sympathies to Sasha, the character, and all that good stuff. So, and then after Beth, or sorry, I'm jumping ahead. After we lost Bob, the group had to go save Beth from the people that had kidnapped her at the end of season 4. And the mission failed, and we got to see possibly the most emotional death scene in Beth. Like I'd say that with Herschel, and this is right up there. I think these are the two that would be argued the most emotional death scenes so far. Season 7 debut premiere might take that away. We'll see. In fact, I would predict it does in a video you'll see later on of why I say that. But Beth was accidentally shot by Dawn, and then Daryl shot and killed Dawn, and then the ceasefire was called. But during this time, Michonne and Glenn and Maggie and Abraham and Gabriel and the rest of the crew, Carl, I think as well, were all making their way to Beth. You know, they knew what was going on, so when Maggie and them got back to the church, you know, Tara was like, let's go get your sister back. And, you know, when she found her sister was alive. So they went back, and here she is, you know, killing some walkers, all happily and proudly that here she is. You know, I'm going to see my baby sister. I haven't seen her for a long time. I miss her. I love her. She's the only real blood family I have left. And unfortunately, that never happens, as Beth is being carried out by Daryl, her limp body, and you see Maggie break down in tears, and that was probably even more emotional than Beth dying, because we all have a tie to Maggie at this point, but we don't have a huge tie with Beth. Beth, you know, had a couple episodes that were her, but really things weren't centered around her as much, and you know, so all of us seeing Maggie in pain, we felt that, and you know, that sucked. It sucked to see Daryl as well. I know a lot of us felt bad for Daryl as well. We're all big Daryl fans, and the way Daryl reacted when Beth was killed by Dawn, and then after he shot and killed her, you saw that killing her didn't make him feel any better. When he killed Dawn, he was still feeling the grief of losing his really good friend Beth, the person he had grown close to, and that told him that she told Daryl, I told you to be the last one left and I would die. And unfortunately, that comes true. So then they're taking Noah to see his family, and we find out that his family's all been killed. And we get kind of the dream flashback almost when Tyrese gets bit this episode, and he sees the governor, and I believe he sees the little girls. I know he sees Beth, he sees Bob, and they're all basically telling him different things about life and death and whatnot. And we lose Tyrese in this episode, and it's sad. So they're kind of wandering from there, and no supplies, and some water gets left for them, and they're like, what the hell's going on here? No, don't drink that shit. And so they go into an abandoned barn that Daryl had found, and it stormed really hard, but they survived. The next morning, Sasha and Maggie ran into a gentleman named Aaron, and Aaron was like, "Hey, I want you guys to audition to come to Alexandria. I know it makes it sound like we're like a, I want you to apply to be in a dance group, basically." And Rick, obviously, immediately being very distrustful. The rest of the group is tired of this. They're tired of sitting around. They pretty much take a vote, and the decision is they will be going with Aaron to see Alexandria. And when we get there, we see Alexandria is a very nice and beautiful place. And it has a lot of luxuries that they haven't had in a long time: electricity, running water, hot water, haircuts, and things like that. And we see that the lady that gives the haircut to um, Rick, Jesse, she is married to an abusive gentleman named Pete, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. Noah starts working for Reg, who is married to the person that runs the city, named Deanna, and Reg is the architect, and Noah starts to work for him. And then we see Nicholas selfishly allow Noah to die. When Glenn knew the way out and how they could all survive, Nicholas freaked out, and it caused the revolving door to open and expose Noah and Glenn, and all of us got to watch a very visual death for Noah, a very graphic death for Noah, unfortunately. And then he lost his mentor, or we lost his mentor, which would have been Reg, when Pete, the husband of Deanna, the husband of Deanna, was killed by Pete in an accident going for Rick holding Michonne's katana. He accidentally cut the throat of Reg, which made him bleed out fairly quickly and die. And then Deanna told Rick to do it, and Rick turned and fired and killed Pete. And then the season ended with us seeing Morgan, who was brought by Daryl and Aaron, who Morgan saved them. Return of Morgan. We all love Morgan. And Morgan his motto now at this point has changed, and he's life is precious. Life is precious, folks. And so think of this guy saying life is precious, and he sees Rick covered in blood with a gun where he just executed a guy. So that's how we end season 5 going, what the hell? How is this going to work out? So season 5, I really liked the way season 5 was done. There was a lot going on, and we lost a lot of people. We lost, like I said, Beth, Tyrese, Noah, and Reg. And it just was a hard season for deaths and a little too many. The good news is season 6 went a little light in that area. We had a couple, but nothing really what I call devastatingly major. But I do think losing Beth, Bob, and Noah and Tyrese is a notable loss. So, anyhow, guys, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought of season 5. We'll see you next time right here on Trending here at T.I.Studios.
You may now subscribe.